Hello and welcome back to New Albion, our town here in Theotown. And today we are going to be building a port area. And I have never done that before. So, we're going to zone a harbor and see how that goes. We're going to put it right there by the water. And I don't know what else we have to do. I don't know if we just zone it by the water and it pops up, or it's like building a military base where you have to plop the individual structures. We will see. So we've zoned a harbor, industry area for the waterfront of the city. Very good. And it's not developing. I guess it's not developing because we don't have a lot of demand for industry right now. But we do. What we should do here is to eliminate some of these houses. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if we're going to have industry by the waterfront, I imagine that houses won't like that very much. So we will eliminate the residential area here and replace it with a commercial zone. And while we wait, we'll build we'll zone a farm as well. Want to have as many farms as possible here in our city. Looking at our RCI, we do have some more residential demand, so probably ought to take a moment to make room for more homes. But we'll put the houses up over here. We're building a high density area near the north downtown region. You know, as I was making another video about the topic of violence in video games and the question of whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it got me to thinking about how important it is to be able to make light of things in life, because truthfully, life is filled with many things that are quite unfortunate, and miserable, and awful. And if you can see everything as being a bit unserious, a bit lighthearted, a bit fun, then you'll find that you're able to cope with things a lot better than other people do. And while everyone is so serious about everything, you maybe will be able to just say, you know, it is what it is. And I have found in my own personal life, quite often I make all sorts of jokes and say silly off the wall things and make light of bad situations, and sometimes it's fun to just mock people who are really serious about life. And it's not because the things that they're worried about aren't serious. I think they are. It's just life is so serious it'll crush you if you continue to meditate on all the things that are bad. So it's better just to act like life's a bit of a game and have fun with it. And if you win one, you win one. If you lose one, you lose one. You don't worry too much about it. And if you lose the game, well, I guess somebody else will get to keep on playing anyway. Yeah, somebody always wins, you know? It doesn't have to be you. Maybe your duty is to lose, just so that somebody else can have a good time. I don't know. I do think that if you believe that everything happens for a reason, then you also have to accept that bad things happen for a reason, because it doesn't make sense to say that when things go the way you want them to go, everything happens for a reason, and it's providence, and it's faith coming into being, and it's the will of God being made manifest. But when things don't go your way and somebody else wins, then that's the devil. It doesn't make much sense, does it? But that's kind of how we tend to think. We think we should have faith that things will all work out. And in our minds, we think that means that if we believe, then things will go the way we want. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes, oh, it's not. And we'll be much happier if we understand that it's okay if things don't go our way. It's okay if somebody else wins and we take the back seat. Because the universe does not revolve around any one of us. We are just small creatures. And that is okay. Now it looks like we still don't have enough demand for our harbor area to develop, though a nice little farm here of carrots or something has popped up, so I guess we'll just continue to build more houses and more commercial area. And I will say that is where a lot of city building games kind of go wrong. And I don't know that there's a better way. It's just you wind up always expanding. You're always building more residential areas, more commercial areas. You're making that footprint bigger and bigger to satisfy that arbitrary and ever-growing demand. And then what you wind up with is, as would be expected, urban sprawl. And that's fine, but it doesn't quite scratch the itch for that sense of a slow-growing little town. It's a sleepy little town. It doesn't have a lot going on, and over the course of 50 years, almost nothing changes, and it's a beautiful, exciting, vibrant little town. And there's a lot of amazing stories to be told about little towns across America and around the world that are that way. And city builders just tend to maybe miss that because they're not focused on the slow-growing minutia of a small settlement. They're focused on the macro of a very large city, which is great if that's what you want to build. But it can feel like you just want to build something small and cozy and quaint, and you always wind up just expanding wildly in all directions because that's the way to progress. And, I know a game like Cities Skylines does make it possible to avoid that because you can kind of plop any building you want and you can use it as a city painter. But then at that point, it's more of like designing a model railroad as opposed to really having a true sense of simulation at play. In any case, I do think for a simple game, Theotown does a real nice job of providing a level of customization, and certainly if you compare Theotown to SimCity 2000, which is probably what it's most like, and a game that I was quite fond of that got me started on the city building games, well, Theotown is a whole lot more amazingly functional than SimCity 2000. And yet there certainly was a nostalgia that came with SimCity 2000, and maybe Theotown would have felt the same way if I had it to play back then. Probably would have felt even better. It's just there was something incredible about the early SimCity experiences I remember, and every building in the game just felt special and amazing and exciting. And now I don't know if I feel quite the same way about the games as I used to. And perhaps some of that's just because my perspective on life is different than it was when I was a child and a teenager. And yet, I think it's very important not to lose that sense of imagination and to be excited about some of these things. After all, if you don't have something that keeps your imagination going, then what do you really have? What value is there in life without that? The world would be a dull and miserable place, wouldn't it, if there's no imagination? Well, till next time. Maybe next time we can build the harbor. I'll show it to you in the next video, because right now it's still just an empty lot there by the water on the edge of town. Till next time, thank you for watching.